Hello and welcome everyone to the OVRC. Welcome to round 3 of the OVRC GT3 Season 3. I am joined once again by Owen.
Hello everyone.
And we join you at a very, very sunny Spa. Compared to every other time where we have threat of rain, it's complete opposite. It's sunny, it's warm, it's like, you know, no driver to worry about rain. Only issue now is very hot. Track temp's 36 degrees right now, so... But yeah, Spa, famous circuit, you know, it's Spa. What can go wrong? GT3 at Spa. Classic. But before we get into qualifying, which will be starting soon, let's quickly go over the current championship standings.
Yeah, so leading the championship right now is Marcus Lawrence with 200 points, so he's won both races so far. Then in second, it's a tie between Jordan Grant-Smith and Mike Stuffmill, both with 116 points. Then in fourth we have Tom Pottich with 110 points, and then Thomas Olsen in fifth with 104. Meanwhile, in the team's championship, leading is PCDC Motorsports with 200 points, so this is Marcus Lawrence. In second is WND Wet Sports with 160 points. And in third we have Flying Husky Motorsports with 142. Followed by Silver Missile Racing Team in fourth with 133. And then we have Virtual Drives by TX3 with 116 in fifth. And as always, if you want to see the full standings, you can do so at the link in the description.
Thank you for that, Owen. So we start qualifying. There's 20 minutes of it, and a lot of it will be spent going down this very long pit lane. Something to note, Spa in ACC requires you to use the endurance pit lane, as it's called, so the full pit lane. As you can see, it's very long and very slow. So I'm wondering who can get out on track first. I'm trying to work it out now. Let's see. It looks Thomas Olsen's a bit up the road. I'm working on the track right now. There's quite a few drivers actually go ahead. Well, there's John Dalton. John Dalton's always a safe bet, you know, being out there first. Looks like he is. So John Dalton looks like he is leading the... No, it's a McLaren. I don't know who that is. Who's that McLaren? It's D Lowe.
Damien Lowe.
Damien Lowe, yeah. So he's currently going to be the first car out on track right now in his McLaren 720S. So, 20 minutes of qualifying, and most cars will be out on track. At least the track is long enough for people to find a gap. So it's not too much, but people will be probably filling it with more fuel in the tank compared to normal, doing a lot of long running rather than 2 laps pit, go out again, because you just lose too much time in the pit stop. Or having to pit in again and then exit the pit. Damien Lowe heading towards the final part of the lap through Blanchimont. The track is a bit cooler than practice, but not by a lot, by a degree. So it's currently 56 degrees. Track, which is actually causing a lot of the slow and issues with people's cars, is that high track temp. So it'll be interesting to see who will overcome this challenge, who will struggle. So Daniel starts his first time as he heads towards the source. And he starts going straight down the hill, down towards Eau Rouge at the bottom, down the old pit lane, and plus the start line. Start line is different to the finish line around here. Through Eau Rouge and up rally on we go. This is all a bit of a lift, you know, trying to bounce the car, try not to lose it. It's quite easy to lose a car if you've got the aero bounce a bit wrong. Then you've got the Kemmel straight, which is a straight. Surprise, surprise. Quite a good overtaking opportunity at the end here as you head into the comms. Swing it from right to left. You're going to get an exit. It's quite hard. You've got to try and not compromise too much of your exit here. Runs a bit wide, Damien Lowe onto the curb there. Now into the hard right. This is a tricky corner, actually. So I flick to the rest through No Name. I'll still call it No Name. As then you head into Pawn. Again, brake it, tap the brakes, get the car in, then you full throttle about halfway through the corner. All the way out towards Campus. Again, another tricky section. Damien just struggling a bit of understeer right now, just judging by the lines he's taking as he heads now into Stavilo 1. And into Stavilo 2, takes a wide line into it. And avoid going wide on the exit. So it's all flat out now for the most part. Towards the bus stop, but first you've got to encounter a Blanchiment, which is coming up right now. This may be a lift, maybe a tap of the brake, but mostly a lift, all flat out if your car sits up correctly. As Damien goes through there. Run a bit on the curb. Hard on the brakes now for the bus stop chicane, which goes up a hill a bit to make it even more annoying to deal with. Followed by a quick to the left, and then you're on the start-finish straight for a lap of Spa, and that will be a 2-minute 21.7, which is immediately beaten by Mark Whitfield as they all head across the line behind.
Yep, so Max Stoffmill taking P1 for now with a 2:18.1. Closely followed by Marcus Lawrence, and there's Mark Whitfield in third. I think John Dalton just slotted into fourth.
So I see a lot of people starting to time for that now. Damien Lowe's in the pit lane. It's just being that it's got 14 minutes to go, as a lot of people will be doing their first laps and then starting their second laps now. As Tom Potter will cross the line and will move up to P3 with a 2-minute 18.2. So once again, similar three faces at the top there. Tom Potter's, Marcus Lawrence and Mike Stoffmill. Of course, Marcus Lawrence won both races so far. Stoffmill came second after a very poor showing at Silverstone.
Adam Wolf into 10th position just now. There's much more times coming in.
Lots of people improving their times. Quite a long lap around here. It's 7 kilometers. So it's one of the longest tracks. I think it is the longest track for at least us here. So most of it about 5 kilometers. So quite a long lap. Quite a fast lap though, because obviously it's got a lot of flat out sections.
Scott Suffolk will be next to across the line and set his first timed lap. And let's see where he will go. He will go into 10th position.
Marcus Lawrence heading down towards Blanchiment now. Is currently on the 0.3 improvement. He's looking like this might take provisional pole if he can keep this going, as he's going to head towards the through Blanchiment now and then into the bus stop.
Few people on their first lap still. Thomas Austin just going around the final corner. Let's see where he can put his first attempt. And he goes into second.
Yeah, Marcus Lawrence improves to provisional pole right now.
Grant Smith going out the final corner now. Let's see where he goes. And he goes nowhere.
Liam Holt currently got a second improvement right now. He's down in P12. Going to be crossing the line now. That should jump him up to P6. So, decent lap by him. Nicholas is also improving by 8 tenths as he heads towards the final corner now. See where he puts his McLaren, moves up to P8.
Much more people improving right now, among which Robert Nygaard and Scott Sovic. Sovic just going out the final corner now, nearly a second up on his delta, so he's currently in 16th. And let's see where he goes. He goes into 12th. Joshua Devonshire just moved up to 8th.
Robert Nygaard on a decent improvement. Sebastian's just gone off the track at Stavro too. Possibly running a bit too much there. Gonna go across the line now and moves up to P5. As Grant Smith slots into P3.
Falkenstein moves up to 15th. The Benjamin Kerbel improves to 8th. Sheldesky on an improvement right now, currently in 12th. And let's see where he goes, and he moves up to 6th. Mike Stoffmill has taken P1 earlier, but he has currently moved down to 4th. However, he is improving right now, and it looks like he could be taking back P1.
Michael Starsif moves up to P2 just after his last lap as Mike Stoffel will cross the line now and will move it to provisional pole. So now pole is changed once again.
Just slightly ahead of Marcus Lawrence, but it's good enough for P1 right now. Lawrence is out there, I think on a hot lap right now, but not really seeing improvement from him so far.
Stars over Mike Stoffel currently on improvements right now. So is Mark Whitford. So a few people out there trying to improve where they are right now or extend their lead in Mike Stoffmel's case.
Michael Stasif was also on improvement, but he's run into a bit of traffic. And that seems to have slowed him down somewhat. And he's lost his improvement. Valentin Molliet is also improving right now. Half second up on his delta as he is heading towards the bus stop. So going around the final corner now. Currently 6 tenths up on his delta. He seems to have lost a few tenths in the final corner. And he moves to 13th. Mike Stoffel will be crossing the line pretty soon.
Just make a mistake going to the bus stop. That brakes a bit deep and will abort this lap. So after having a 3 tenths improvement most of that lap, he loses it on the last part.
Victor Berlin improving slightly. Currently in 14th, so let's see where he goes. And he will move into 11th position.
Some people will probably get on track if they can right now, as Marcus Lawrence aborts whatever lap he was just on. So they've got to kind of head out now and get that lap done, and then have at least one more lap after this. I'm interested to see what happens. Obviously, very close to the top right now. Tom Potter's only done 3 laps. And he's probably very much set with being in P6 right now.
Yep, he is still in the pits currently. Michael Stassev improving slightly as he is halfway through the lap. Mike Stossmill is back out on track. Currently on an outlap. Jordan Grant Smith has just started another lap. He's currently in P5. Let's see if he can still improve from there. Things are looking pretty close so far. We've got the top 12 within a second of each other.
Yeah, it is quite close right now. Obviously, it's only for qualifying right now, so I hope the race will be close, as Michael Stafford will cross the line very shortly and does not improve. So he stays P3. He's got one more shot now. Well, he's got 2 more shots realistically. He's got enough fuel in the tank.
Not seeing a lot of improvements right now. People lower down in the field improving. Timothy Gladdening currently half a second up and he is in P20 at the moment. So could be getting a nice improvement this lap if he keeps this up. Fraser Harley in a similar situation. Sebastian Brunier was improving slightly, although I just saw his improvement disappear as he is halfway through the lap, currently P17. He will be hoping he can improve still. It is very close in those few positions ahead of him. If he gets a nice improvement in this lap, he could gain a few positions.
Benjamin Cabell currently down in the P10. He's got slight improvement going on right now as he heads through Puan.
Oh! Sebastian Brunier gets spun around. He's got one of the Astons behind him. I think that was Michael Stassev. Seems to have had a collision with Michael Stassev. Not sure what happened there. I'll have to go and check.
Grant Smith currently on a small improvement right now.
Yeah, Michael was driving very close behind Sebastian, and it seems to have hit Sebastian's rear, resulted in them both getting taken out.
Under a minute to go.
Jordan Grant Smith, currently 3/10 up.
Grant Smith 0.4 up right now as he heads into the final corner.
Could he take P1?
Across the line,
He
will take provisional pole with 20 seconds to go. Mike Stoffmill will have to, is possibly a threat still as he goes up. He's going through the kennel. He's got time to finish his lap, but Grant Smith is still improving as well.
Marcus Lawrence just heading over the finish line, but does not improve this lap. He might have one more go though.
I hope he's got fuel.
Seems to have crossed the line just in time before the checkered flag. Most people are in the pit lane right now, but we still have a fight for pole position. Mike Stoffman is about halfway through the lap. Not seeing any improvements from him so far. Meanwhile, Victor Berlin about to cross the line, currently in P11. And he will stay in P11, as I think that was an invalid lap. Benjamin Corbell is also crossing the line. And we'll move up to P7. Mark Lawrence 2/10 up on his delta right now.
Mike Stock will be the first one that's up to cross the line. And he does not improve. Grant Smith will be the next one. Can't go by traffic up ahead of him. He aborts his lap, so Marcus Lawrence has got not very long max wait time. He actually not make it to the line.
Yeah, he doesn't have time. So this will be a pole position for Jordan Grant Smith.
Oh no.
That was very well done for Jordan.
Let's see, Marcus Lawrence going to cross the line, but the session has ended.
I don't think it will still count.
I don't think it would have changed anything. What it looks like. So yeah,
that is a very close fight in the top 3. Let's hope that continues into the race.
Yeah, so Grant Smith takes pole. It's the third different pole sitter of the season. So you have a different race winner this time. As everyone will be soon to line up. So, 1 hour race. And in case you didn't know, and we said it earlier, the start line will be where this is now. So, the old start finish straight, as is done by tradition in the real 24 Hours of Spa. So the current grid is looking like that for the top 24 cars. Grant Smith will be on pole. Alongside him will be Mike Stoffmill, Marcus Lawrence, and Michael Stasev behind them. Thomas Olsen and Tom Pottage for the third row. Benjamin Kerbel and Mark Whitford behind them, followed by Nicholas Tedeschi and Robert Nygaard. Victor Berlin and Liam Holes, John Dalton, Vanny Mulliott behind them. Joshua Devonshire and Falkenstein behind those two. Sebastian Brunier and Adam Carlisle down in P17 and 18. Scott Sovic and Timothy Glenning are P19 and P20. There's currently 30 cars on the field, so a bit less than normal. There's about a minute to start. So 1 minute to go, and I'm not really sure who's going to have this race. To be fair, obviously no fuel stops, so and I might make them AMG struggle a bit, but we'll see what happens. Obviously a full outlap, so I imagine people will probably be on fuel saving modes if all possible. But the smart thing to do is quite a long outlap, so it'll make sense for drivers to do that. So all the cars will be on the off the jacks now, you hope, as just Dendo's in the pit lane. No, he's not in the race. That explains that. So they will begin rolling. So Michael Starsev's in the pit lane.
Indeed, he is. That's very curious. Yeah, so just disappear from the starting grid.
I think everyone else is still active. So up they go. All 30 cars, well, all 29 cars now starting to roll. Like I said, we're a very long way back now. I don't know how the starts work in ACC for pit lane start. I know in the R-Factor based games you can drive to the end of the pit lane and wait there, but I don't think you can do that in ACC. But we'll find out. We'll find out. So down the hill they go. And the current track time is 33 degrees. The track's a bit cooler than the session for qualifying, so might help some people out a bit with some getting some turning, or might throw people setups off even more. We don't know. Anything could happen. It's an OVRC race. It's got an hour race. GT3 is at Spa. Anything could happen. Everyone decides to park up immediately and protest about something. I don't know. What could happen?
What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong is I head to campus right now. We are about to get ready as the cars will probably start to line up side by side very shortly, or at least be in the instruction to. As I believe this is roughly where the start would be normally. Actually, no, it won't be. I'm thinking of the wrong game. Completely. We're confusing the old start, I remember now. It's not iRacing. It's an iRacing, this would be the lineup, but they won't be. We're using the old start. They'll be probably lining up onto the modern day start finish line at the top of the hill. They'll start to go alongside each other now as I head into the bus stop. Obviously a gap there where the Aston of Michael Startup would be. There might be a gap for Tom Pottis to possibly use. I don't know if it will autofill or not. Doesn't look like it's autofilling.
Yep, Michael Startup still in the pit lane.
Won't be allowed to move anywhere until, you know. So they get down to the start-finish line now as we prepare to go racing for round 3. Ron Smith with the inside line into a Rouge, but let's see what happens. We'll get a better launch here to head down the hill now. As we go green, green, green. As Stoffel gets a good start now as we head up the hill. Grant Smith will take the lead, it looks like. As Marcus Lawrence will be on the attack as well, trying to slip past them, but Mike Stoffel being forced behind to Grant Smith under an attack now as everyone else makes their way up. Blocking the inside, Grant Smith, which might allow Stoffel to get back round. Best camera first as helicopter can, as it does look like the Mike Stoffel has got ahead of Marcus Lawrence, so defense work working out there. So behind them is Tom Pottis from his Olsen. There's a bit more action going on behind. There's always a car spun around. One of the Lexus's WD Motorsports forced a few cars to go out wide. Everyone's somewhat going back on track. I don't think anyone else has gone around.
Yeah, I think it was John Dalton who spun around because he's fallen down to 21st position.
He is the unlucky person.
Oh, and Aston Martin gets spun around behind him. Not sure who that was.
So Marcus Lawrence is gone. He has lost connection to the server.
Indeed he has. That's unfortunate.
It's very weird indeed. Not normally we have a DC like that, but has unfortunately meant that it's going to be a race of 2 horses now. Tom Pottis is now near second off already. Down the hill, the leaders go up and immediately up.
Oh, Mike having a go.
Around the outside. And he does get ahead of Grant Smith, so he will lead the race.
They are slowly forming up to Tom Pottage. However, Tom Pottage has Mark Whitford very close behind him.
So half-second gap forming. There's quite a big gap behind. There's a still at Nygaard, who then has the McLaren of Nicholas behind, but that's about 2 seconds, so quite a big gap forming there. Rest of the field fairly bunched up still. Sean Dalton's looking to make his way back on a recovery drive a bit after getting knocked off fairly early on. Just want to keep track of what exactly is going on. Okay, it seems it is somewhat calmed down a bit.
Yep, there's a few close gaps, but it's pretty calm so far.
There's
Been a few little accidents in the opening laps, but nothing too severe.
Yeah, Tom Pottage is closed up to Grant Smith. Tom Pottage is possibly looking to make a move on Grant. There's, again, the Mercedes apparently might have to be fuel saving, so they might be down on the power they would normally have. Gap's not exactly open with the leaders though, so Stoffmore's not exactly safe yet.
In the midfield, we've got Falkenstein, Carlisle. Oh, Carlisle just making a move on Falkenstein, but I think that may have been a bit late. It doesn't get away with that one. Might lose another position to Molliet.
Kind of the outside and does get ahead of Carlisle, so Carlisle will mistake their cost then a few positions.
Yeah, that was a rather ambitious move from Carlisle into the bus stop. He really wasn't quite close enough to pull that off. See if Carlisle can maybe have a go at Molliet. And indeed he will try. Around the outside now, but looks like he's gonna have to stay back, and he might be overtaken by the McLaren now, Sebastian Brunier. Brunier does get ahead. Berlin looking racy as well. Berlin getting ahead as well. Now he's got John Dalton right behind him. Oh, he collides with John Dalton.
Dalton doesn't. John Dalton doesn't really gain anything, but now he's under threat from the McLaren. Sovek behind. He's got ahead of Holmes. Oh, I forced around the outside, so they're obviously losing pace somewhere. They're getting passed by a bunch of cars, so
Carlisle just losing a lot of positions all of a sudden.
are they carrying some damage? All the tyres are gone.
Not sure. I think they just got compromised by some overtaking moves that didn't work out.
Yeah, I think the Constantino effect is the Ferrari off in the background there. We've had as Kerbal as Lewis Hamilton possibly have contact between those two, judging by one of them waiting up, so well played by those two.
Bit more of a gap between Grant Smith and Pottage again. And Whitford still close behind Pottage. See if Whitford might be able to have a go at Tom Pottage. Nope, doesn't look like he will. Looks like these two are just gonna stick close behind each other for a while to come. Sebastian Brunier has Victor Berlin right behind him.
It's going to possibly calm down a bit. Again, it's quite large gaps already forming. It's only 10 minutes into the race, so little packs of cars starting for. It's not all over yet. Still got some chance for some stuff to happen.
Michael Stassev is still quite far behind the pack after having to start from the pit lane for unknown reasons. Pottage closing back up to Grant Smith.
There's a bit of a seesaw effect going on between these two. Must be a massive boost for Tom Pottage in the points if you can get ahead.
Victor Berlin still close behind Sebastian Brunier. Could he be trying an overtake here? Doesn't look like he will. Brunier trying to close up to Molliet as well. Brunier going down the inside of Molliet.
Yeah, Mullet gets a bit forced around the outside there, makes the wrong line. Sebastian somewhat pokes his nose in there, and Mullet tries avoiding.
Yep, that's allowed Berlin to pass Molliet as well.
Bastion probably trying to close the gap now to Falkenstein up ahead. A bit on their own right now. Let's see how long that will last. As the gap between Stoffmer and Grant Smith has now got to a second now.
Yep. Seems like Stoffmill is finally managing to form a bit of a gap as Tom Potters is going down the inside of Grant Smith. Grant Smith goes wide there. And now Potters is side by side with Whitford. And it looks like Whitford will get ahead. Not sure if what Grant Smith did there was entirely legal. Because he seems to have gained a lot of time by going wide. And taking a bit of a shortcut there.
Oh, did it cost Tom Bottas a position? Bottas now is going to go back on the attack again to get past 2 cars now, when he was only really wanted to get past 1 car. Grant Smith dives down towards the inside line. Somewhat allows Max Stockmore to get away a bit, so as Whitford's got in front of Grant Smith. So that's a good move by him. He's completely missed that on my end. As Grant Smith hit 4th wide around the outside and allows Whitford to sneak in through. Nice to watch out for the McLaren when Thomas Olsen somewhat is lurking there as well. He's closing up slowly as well. Grant Smith racing on a bit unravelling right now. Obviously, he was our pole sitter. But now down in P3. John Dalton right behind Valentin Milliot. Still in a P13 and is mildly bashed up Lexus as Milliot goes a bit deep into La Source and allows John Dalton to make his way through nice and easily.
There's 43 minutes left in the race now. Benjamin Kerbal is in the pit lane. His Ferrari does look a bit damaged, although it seems to be mostly just scratches as far as I can tell. Not really seeing any major bodywork damage. And maybe just going for an early stop. Right, Tom Pottage might be having a go at Jordan Grant Smith soon.
It's around the outside.
They head into the buffer once again. And looks like Bottas will get ahead this time.
Yep. Grant Smith's got his indicator up right now, so... Now Tom Bottas going to make a second gap up to get back to P2, as he is gapping Grant Smith very quickly now indeed, so just feel like Grant Smith is lacking a bit of pace now.
Yeah, Mike Stoffmill now 3.2 seconds ahead of Mark Whitford in P2, so all this fighting has definitely benefited Mike.
Sebastian Bruno's down in P14. I'm not sure quite what happened to him as he's kind of going behind Sovic. That makes positions back up again.
Yeah, he has just lost a few positions.
No visible damage I can see on this car.
He has lost some time this lap, so presumably something happened earlier in the lap. His previous lap was slow as well.
This will be the lap where he did have an incident then. It's got a Sovic behind as Tom Bottas is slowly closing the gap down to Mark Whitford.
Bottas catching up as Grant Smith is losing time to both of these. So we're now getting closer to the halfway point of the race as well, which means we should have pit stops coming soon.
Yep. Obviously, it's just tyres, no fuel. So pit stops will be shorter than normal. As Victor Berlin's in the pit lane, so he's the first pit stops. And here's a tyre change done early. Just getting everything somewhat calms down a bit, apart from this fight between Tom Potters and Mark Whitford right now, as Tom Potters looks a bit down the inside there.
Timothy Gladdening is also into the pit lane.
Whitburn has done his full service now, as he is off the jack, I imagine, as all his tyre changes has been complete.
Yep, and now the long ride to the end of the pit lane
Begins. See where he will end up. Quite far down, I imagine.
Pottage and Woodford still close.
The gap's open up a tiny bit, but not by lots, because most often has somewhat disappeared up the road.
Yeah, it seems like Pottage has lost some time this lap, as he was actually a couple turns faster than Whitford last lap. Just a bit of time lost, but still very close between them. Thomas Alston is into the pit lane.
It's another earlier stopper, as we have 4 minutes until the halfway mark is reached. Sovic closing up onto Valentini Muller. He's got his windscreen wiper on. Not sure why he has his windscreen wiper on, but he has his windscreen wiper on.
Just accidentally pressed the button.
Advanced form of aerodynamics.
Yep.
Oh, Valentini Muller goes a bit deep once again, and luckily
Liam Holmes is also into the pits now.
Well, Tom Bosch is alongside Mark Whitford as I head into the comms. He's forced a long way around, and that will fall behind, but those two are definitely getting racy.
Thomas Olsen has completed his tire change. And is now on the long cruise to the end of the pit lane. Is that Murray also into the pits now? Thomas Olsen gets back up to speed in 23rd position after that pit stop.
So Tom Potches is now in the pit lane, so he feels like he could possibly jump, possibly Mark Whitford now if he hits early. He will now start.
Well, seems he was struggling to really try and overtake Mark Whitford, so maybe just going for trying to do something else and hoping to jump Whitford by pitting for new tires earlier in the race. Chaldakis is also into the pits.
Sebastian
Dalton and Sebastian Brunier are also into the pits.
A bunch of people.
Adam Cardall is also into the pits. So it's starting to get busy in the pit lane now. As Tom Pottage completes his tire change. Mark Webb also heads into the pits.
As you know, it's still staying behind Scott Sovic right now, as he's got past bit A, but it's starting to lose a bit of time now. Probably needs a bit more on the twisty stuff, as Tom Pottage has finished his tyre change, so he'll be pulling down the pit lane now as well. So
Yep, he is back up to speed in 15th position.
Mike Stockwell somewhat just at the front on his own, as he will continue to go around another lap.
Dalton and Sebastian Brunier also rejoining the track now, as we are officially halfway through the race. Adam Carlisle also has completed his stop. Robert Nygaard is into the pit lane. Joshua Devonshire is also into the pits. Valentin Molliet is into the pits. Valko van Valkenstein as well. Olaf Leffe into the pits. Things getting even busier. Damien Lowe pits as well. Robert Nygaard has completed his change, but he still has quite a way to go to the end of the pit lane. Robert Nygaard gets back up to speed in 11th. Devonshire heading back out as well. Mark Stoffels into the pits.
Yep.
Leader is pitting now. The leader is pitting now. Mark Whitford into the pits as well. Jordan Grant-Smith as well.
Thomas Olsen is right behind Tom Pottage after his pit stop cycles. So one of those is either a fast or slow stop.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Even though Thomas Olsen gained a lot of time in the free air he had.
It'll also be interesting to see where they will be relative to Stoffmill, Whitford and Grant Smith once they rejoin the track. Kotsovic has headed into the pits now as well. So all the top drivers making their stops right now. Mike Stoffmill completes his change. And Mark Whitford as well. Grant Smith has changed his tires as well. So they are now all cruising towards the end of the pit lane, where our Tom Pottage and Thomas Olsen. They are just coming up to the bus stop.
And the question will be, where's Mark Whitford in relation to all this? Because one of these two's had an odd start, and it possibly could be Tom Pottage. Let's see what happens now as they head towards the last source now.
Stoffmel and Whitford are getting close to the end of the pit lane.
It does seem.
As Pottage is heading into turn 1.
And down the hill now.
Whitford gets back up to speed. And there seems to be quite a big gap between them.
Yes, the gap has been a bit as Grant Smith is falling behind Olsen, so he's definitely hasn't got pace as Stoffmill has somewhat maintained his gap to everyone else.
Yep, he is in P3 again and seems to be about 5 seconds ahead of Mark Whitford. So, it will be interesting to see where things go from here. Stoffmill has retained the lead he had, it seems. And Pottage seems to have lost time to Mark Whitford.
Very quickly gained it all back again, it does seem like, as he's already under a second.
Yep, he is catching up quickly.
So he's lost a lot of spots during his pit stop. He's down P18. John Dalton's now behind Victor Berlin. That's Kerbal, who pitted earlier due to damage, it looked like, is right behind Sebastian Brunier. So a few positions have been shuffled around in the pit stops, it does feel like. Time gained and lost in various places. Still 2 people yet to pit.
Yep, there are Mike Bell and Michael Stassev. Of course, Michael Stassev, I think, was the one who started from the pit lane. Bell and Stassev staying out. They are not pitting yet.
That's a bit soon. So they're very close to each other right now, so sure. Michael has got in front of Bell, it seems, so they move up the order a bit. But they will, again, will have to make a pit stop, just because they just need to change tyres at some point, they will all say so.
Bushford and Bottas very close. Bottas might go down the inside here. And does look like he makes it stick. So Bottas moves up to 4th.
Whitford have a look now down the hill. Sides against it and will slot into P3 for now.
There is a yellow flag out briefly. Not sure who that was for. There are a few cars that have lost a few seconds at the back of the field. Passive and Bell are still staying out, with less than 20 minutes left in the race now.
John Dalton still right behind Victor Berlin right now as they're closing on the back of Devonshire. Dalton looks down the inside very briefly. Head down the hill now.
Oh, Whitford spun. Sorry, Berlin.
Yeah, Berlin just spun around there. Not sure of any contact.
I don't think there was any contact. I think there was just maybe getting on the throttle too soon or something. Or touching the curb too much.
Yep. He is moving again. Stays in front of Falkenstein, I believe, so didn't lose too much time with that spin and managed to keep it out the wall. Does mean that John Dalton now moves up to P11.
Bottas and Whitford still remaining close together.
Yeah, that's the whole maintain the gap.
As Mike Bell heads into the pit lane. So one of the two drivers who have yet to make their mandatory tire change is heading into the pit lane now. Michael Stassev is still staying out though. Michael Stasif decides to stay out for another lap, really leaving that pit stop to the last moment, it seems.
Yeah, there's only a quarter of an hour left.
Whitford very close behind Pottage as they head into the bus stop. Meanwhile, in the midfield, Molliet is right behind Falkenstein. They are currently fighting for P14. It's like Sebastian Bernier maybe slowly catching up to Victor Berlin as well.
Well, we're right up behind Tom Pottage right now, so doesn't look like that fight's over just yet.
Just over 12 minutes left now, so we're getting very close towards the end of the race. Michael Stasif still has not made a pit stop. He is still running in P1, but he is going to have to make that stop eventually. His lap times right now are still pretty good though, competitive with the midfield. But he did start from the pit lane, so I imagine he'll end up quite far behind after making that pit stop again, especially with how long the pit lane is at this track. Mike Stoffmill has a 5.5 second gap to Tom Pottage right now. Unless something happens to him, he seems pretty safe to take the victory here. As Michael Stasif is finally into the pit lane with just 10 minutes left in the race. It will be interesting to see where he ends up after this stop. If it's done him any favors, although I imagine he'll still be pretty far back the field. Elliott and Falkenstein are still very close together. They have been for a while. Sebastian Brunier has now gotten within half a second of Victor Berlin.
They're very close now through the bus stop, so it'll be interesting to see what happens in the final 10 minutes between these two. Starter finally, yeah, as you say, does pit. He cuts top of Rallion. There's a little hop. He's definitely on a charge now to get past the Ferrari of Victor Berlin now. On the cusp of the top 10 finish. Saying that, he does get top 10 because obviously Starter just exits the pit lane. Does jump up a few positions, it does look like. Quite possibly.
Yep, so he rejoins in 21st position, which is, I think, is certainly better than where he was, so that seems to have worked out for him, although obviously he's still quite far back. Seems like Bernier still very slowly catching up to Berlin. That gap is kind of staying the same as it's been for a while.
Yeah, I think it's somewhat stabilising the gap a bit with these drivers.
Yep. Molliet and Falkenstein are also still very close together as they head into turn 1. Seems like John Dalton is catching up to them though. So that could get interesting.
Way further than Tom Potter still. Again, another one of these packs where it's just all the gap stabilised a bit, where one's got quite enough more speed than the other to really make a pass happen. As we enter the final 5 minutes of the race. Stoffmill, 5 seconds up the road, so he's probably quite happy right now.
Yep. Bernier is getting closer to Berlin again.
We've got very close to the back of Tom Potty just now as they down the Camel Straight. This one next has a bit of a straight line advantage.
Seems like Bernier could be having a go at Berlin right now. Moves down the inside. That doesn't quite do it. So Berlin runs wide. And Bernier goes around the outside. So that's the inside for the next corner.
There's a bit of
touching there.
Yeah, a bit of contact. There's a bit of splash and does manage to squeeze his way in front. Mistake by Berlin. Opened that gap up. But Bernier gets through.
Yeah, I think Berlin was expecting Bernier to go down the inside there, but Bernier kind of backed out of it, and Berlin decided to go late on the brakes to defend anyway. So that's what made him go wide and allow Bernier to overtake.
See if we can keep that position going as the fight for P2 is still going on. And back to about half a second now.
Yep, a little bit more of a gap between them this time.
Now 2 minutes, it'll be about one more lap after this.
That is correct, as Max Stoffman is about halfway through the lap now. And so he will be starting the final lap in about a minute.
John Dalton's moved up again to P13, so he's got a few more laps to go to make up any more positions for him as he's been up and down the order a few times. Not the best race for him right now.
Mike just overtaking some traffic into the bus stop. At least the traffic stays ahead for now. But he will be starting the final lap now. And he has a 4.3 second lead over Tom Pottage. Seems to have lost some time this lap. Maybe due to traffic.
Grant Smith is overtaking or having a fight with Thomas Olsen, which I only just noticed is happening right now as Thomas Olsen goes a bit deep into the source. Grant Smith moves up into P4, so something has changed around between those two as the clock is going to hit 0 very shortly. Right stuff, we're currently going down the hill now from. What was this? Tom, just in the background, 4 seconds back. I don't think it's enough time in the race for really to get any closer.
Whitford seems to have lost a lot of time this lap, so the gap between him and Pottage has extended. So it looks like unless Pottage makes a mistake, it will be him who takes P2.
What's his idea of the traffic? And
Max Stoffmill getting near the end of the lap as he is heading towards the bus stop now.
speeding of having a clean, straight line to the finish. Back mark in the way, so it's going to ruin his shot. But well, Mike Stoffmill will take the checkered flag for round 3. He will finally get his win.
Tom Pottage will get P2 and then followed by Whitford in P3. Grant Smith will finish in P4, followed by Thomas Olsen in P5. And then Robert Nygaard going around the final corner now. He will be taking P6.
Nikos will be coming home in P7, so a decent result for him.
Yep, Joshua Devonshire heading around the final corner now to take P8. And then it looks like Berlin. Something's happened to him this lap. He is slowing down, maybe he's running out of fuel. And he's lost a bunch of positions out of that. He has dropped down to P16 and he is going
across
off the track.
That might be a TQ, but I don't think you can get away with that. He will head across the line.
Cross the line in P16.
He's ran out of fuel, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He does cross the line P16.
I think it's questionable if that was entirely legal. But
yeah, I mean, he improvised, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, oh no, how are we going to get to the end here? Holes will come home in P20 Ron, and Mike Bell will be the final finisher. That will be round 3 over as Mike Stoffmill takes the win. Followed by Tom Pottage, Mark Whitford, Grant Smith, Thomas Olsen, Robert Nygaard, Nikos Shersky, Joshua Devonshire, Sebastian Brunier, and Benjamin Kerbel round off the top 10. Thank everyone for watching once again. I hope you all enjoyed the race.
Yep, that was a very fun race. So if you enjoyed it, we would really appreciate if you could click the like button and subscribe to the channel if you want to catch our upcoming races. So next week we will be back with the GT3 series at the Hungaroring.
Yep. And until then, everyone, make sure you stay safe, and yeah, we'll see you then.
Goodbye.